How often should I publish content with inbound marketing? So let's talk exactly about that. And I can tell you content repetition and consistency, teams and systems is the answer. I'm going to break it all down for you in this video and share some of my $1 trillion tips at the end. So the 4 things I'm going to talk about. Number 1, I want to talk about what is content marketing and how to get started. Number 2, what are the major components of this marketing strategy? So you actually can start generating some leads and then make some money. Number 3, how to come up with the marketing strategy. And number 4, how much should you publish and when? And I'm going to give you some of my $1 trillion tips because this year, 2022, we took our social media to a whole nother level. And I'm going to share my secrets at the end of the video. So get a pen and paper. So what is content marketing and how do you get started? Well, it's content, so it comes out of here. In fact, I always say, the only reason I have a bunch of these is I produce a lot of content. Where did it come from? It came from here. You have the same thing. You all have expertise. You're an expert at something. What are you an expert in? And what could you produce content about? So some of the first things I would do if I was you and I didn't really know, but I had an area, like I'm doing a lot of work with functional medicine practitioners and doctors and chiros, a lot in the wellness space right now. And that's also because I'm also in the student and pro athlete space and coaches, wives space, is go out into your space and what is the theme? There's a theme, there's something going on. Like, are they relevant? Are they up to date? Or is it just kind of some people are the same thing for 10 years. My 3 block things I do, my 5 steps to blah, blah, blah I do. Some people don't change, they don't edit, they don't modify. Wouldn't encourage that. I think you need to stay relevant. What's in your industry? What's the norms? What are people talking about? Like right now we're in a recession. We're in an inflationary period. We also have high interest rates. What's that doing? I talk about all those things on my channel. So what do you want to talk about? So I would go out on social media first, right? And I would start doing some posts. I would start just having some quick 1-minute Instagrams, having some, quick posts out on TikTok, do a LinkedIn live, do a Telegram live, just get out and start talking. And then what are people responding to? Now, if no one's responding to you, there's the memo. You should call me immediately, call our team and say, oh my gosh, I need help. Nobody wants to listen to me. It could be how you're presenting it. So we'll mentor and coach you through that. Our phone number for our office is in the description below. So click it at any time, call it. We will answer it and help you out. You've got to learn what you're doing and how to get content. Now, once you get more fluid at it, I would do chapter by chapter. I would never just start out and write a book. Now you can write the little books, the little Amazon bestsellers. I would do a bunch of those, right? I have a bunch of those planned in 2023, right? They'll just be on a variety of different topics, kind of fun, simple topics. Probably talk for an hour, transcribe it, have somebody edit it, put a cover on it, and we got another book. That's how easy content is for me. But it wasn't in the beginning. See, a lot of you have camera fright. So then I would say, cut off the camera for now until you get your fluidity of the content, because you don't want to be here and then taking notes and reading down here while you're doing your video. So just get your content, get your message, then get over the camera fright and get out here. Now, how do you post it? What kind of content? You can do blogs, you can do reports, you can do books, you can do a YouTube channel like this, you can do so many things. In fact, I create one piece of content and usually repurpose it 4, 6, 7, 8 times. I have a podcast in addition to our YouTube channel that we're here 5 days a week, which, by the way, since we're here, click the subscription button, hit the notification. You're gonna be here every day. I'm here 5 days a week teaching you how to make money and be great business owners. And how do you put this money conversation in your family? Lots of agendas with what I'm doing out here on YouTube. And I'm producing an enormous amount of content and repurposing it, if you notice, all over. And what's fabulous here's when you know you're really good at content, people rip you off. Right? So I have 2 rip-off channels over on Instagram. Don't go there, don't visit them, or just go call and report them. Loral Langemeier spelled wrong. The Millionaire Maker spelled wrong. They're not mine. My Instagram is @AskLoral. Had to go there because I got these rip-off people, which is, sort of a compliment because they love my content. But for you beginners, just start talking. Start talking, start asking questions, right? And when I say talk, ask more questions in the beginning. Find out what people want to know about you as an expert. Now, let's go to the next one. What are the major components of a marketing strategy? So the major components of a marketing strategy, who's your customer? Who do you want it to be? Now, I have a little bit of a reverse thinking in marketing. I like really wide offers to bring in a ton of people in my database. And then I'll niche later for those who are ready to really say, work with me, go to the big table, have some private time with me. So I niche later and I go really wide. Like I want all of you to get my Millionaire Maker book. I want all of you to get my Make Your Kids Millionaire book. Why? Because I have checklists that all of you need to be doing and putting into effect in your life and leaning in. So to get a marketing strategy, you got to find out, where do your people hang out? What's going to be their path of their experience? The other thing I like to put into a marketing strategy, it's more for your knowledge. Where have they been? Like you can imagine in my world, they've typically been with Ramsey or Orman or some traditional financial world. So when they come to my world and they learn real money, Millionaire Maker way, 3 to 5 years, that's a different conversation than where they've been hanging out. They've been hanging out, getting out of debt. Then they come to my channel and so I'm telling them to go get into good debt. So know where they hang out and then know how to have that transitional conversation, right? To have that, how to help them. So how do you come up with a content marketing strategy? There's really 3 kind of big chunks to it. Just your knowledge in your product and service in your industry. It's really knowing it. So like, for me, teaching Millionaire Maker stuff would be very odd and out of any congruency or integrity if I wasn't a millionaire. So I take my knowledge. So then how do I plan it? And then how do I produce it? See, a lot of times content marketing for a lot of people is just about the schedules. You have to post 3 times a day, or when do you post and how do you post and which way do you hold the camera for the video? Here's the interesting thing. Each social channel has a different algorithm. So you're going to have to repost a lot of stuff and recut it different ways in different conversations. Like I'll say the same thing maybe 5 or 6 different ways to get it properly done for the algorithm of the channel. That's later. That's how to actually do the posting and the production of it. First, what are you going to talk about? You got to talk about the most relevant things that your people want to talk about, which is ask them questions, talk to them. And then how do you actually plan it? So as you're doing your planning, I want you to start really looking at, again, in your industry, your product service. Is it more blogs? Is it reports? Is it newsletters? Like in the financial space, there's still a lot of newsletters. In the vet and agricultural space, there's more newsletters, right? In this kind of a space with authors, consultants, mentors, things that actually people produce this kind of stuff, you're usually out doing blogs. You might be posting a chapter. You might be posting something about a story or a topic, posting a testimonial. So you need to do some planning of how you want to structure the content and then when it's going to be produced and how it's going to be produced. And if you're a beginner, I would not do it all. Like, I think too many of you try to do it all. You want to do emails, you want to do text, you want to do your reports, you want to do a Shopify store, there's too much you want to do. So pick the things that you're seeing have the most traction in your space and then start studying the algorithms of the social channels for that space. So for us, we have to post at least 40 times a week just to get the algorithms to really work together in all of our social postings. The other thing, I'm just going to give you a publishing schedule. I just want to read it off to you. So how much should you publish per week? So we do 5 times a week, minimum. Again, we do 1 to 3 a day, and then we adjust as we go. And again, you've got to come back and not just post, you've got to create engagement. So I have a whole team that's hired to go back and actually do all of our engagement. And then actually, one of our strategies is I want you out of social media, I want you in my database, and I want you on the phone so I can understand your money problems, having a conversation with you, not a bunch of texts and email threads and a bunch of DMs and just, that's interesting. But I have too many questions when you come back with one question. I am going to have, how did you make money? Not just how much money. I want to know, how do you make it? Are you an employee? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you incorporated? Are you sole proprietor? I have tons and tons of questions. So it's easy for us, which is one of our biggest marketing strategies, to get you out of here and on a phone call. So again, our number is in the description below. Call it at any time, anytime, anytime. And if you want to ask me a question 24/7, go to askloral.com. Ask a question, put that in anytime. Now back to posting. What else do we do? Don't set it and forget it. You have to schedule it and then you have to come back and engage. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see people. They just post something and they don't go back and engage in a way that is moving that follower or that person that's engaging into your database. You want to take a follower, move them into your database. Followers are interesting, but you also, if you don't manage your algorithms, you could be put into whatever their social prison, which means you could be taken off LinkedIn for a day or taken off TikTok for a day or a week or however long. And then if that's how you're running your company, you're not going to do very well. You have to have a place where you can monetize your database. If you want to learn more about that, we have a amazing call that you can jump into called Rapid Marketing Systems. I'll put a link in the description below and just go watch the video. It's about a half hour, 45 minutes, and tells you how we would help you market and bring that people from followers and the algorithms and the content marketing into a database. And then how do you monetize it? That's my favorite conversation. Repetition is key, really nurturing the customer, staying in that engagement. And then on a regular basis, I would put out some surveys and polls. What else do they want you to talk about? And always engage them. What do they want to talk about? Like right now, if you want me to talk about something else on this channel or additional topics, go to the comments section and put it in the comments section. We have someone there every day who's feeding that information to us here in studio, actually doing this recording. So listen to what your customers want. Too many of you think because you're the expert, you know best, and then you just force your content on people. You've got to create a fun way to have the engagement of the conversation and a safe way if you are in a scary conversation, like money, sex, and God. Bob Proctor, I said. Those 3 topics, usually people don't talk about, they're scared to talk about. I don't know how many of you that are out there watching my channel say, oh, I'm so scared of money, I have a bad money conversation. Well, then pick up the phone and let's talk about it. And so whatever your topic is, your product, your service, your industry, what is your best way to get engagement? That's really what's going to have you get some cash from your online and your marketing strategies. So last thing I want to say is if you had a billboard on the side of a freeway and you had 8 to 10 words, what would they be to describe what you do? I'm a money expert that knows how to make fast cash. It's one way I could say it. I'm also a money expert who's a millionaire in real estate, right? Call me for a consult. I mean, there's so many things I could do to put up on a billboard. They just come out freely, but I've been doing this for 20-something years. You have to come up with who are you? What can you do? What does your audience want? How do they want to engage? And really what I want you to do is begin today. And if you have questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request, and let's have a conversation. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.